West Ham have officially announced the signing of Mateus Fernandes on a 5-year deal. £37 million with add-ons taking it up to £42 million. We've finally got a midfielder. It's official. He's in the shirt, and everyone's like, sure, I'm not going to believe it until he's holding the shirt. He's wearing the shirt. He's in the shirt. We have a midfielder, and this is an exciting signing. This is a huge upgrade on what we've got, in my opinion. And it's hopefully the first of a few to come in, because that midfield needs a complete transformation. We've finally got someone that can progress the ball, can take the game by the scruff of the neck, and someone with some legs in the midfield. Now, I'm not saying he's like a pace machine, but compared to what we've got, yeah, it's a big upgrade. He's obviously going to me, replace Ward-Prowse. He's the Ward-Prowse replacement. So naturally goes ahead of Ward-Prowse. Now, as it stands, if we don't get anyone else in, well, then you play him in the Rodriguez position with a Ward-Prowse or a Soucek or something. Because obviously the weakest link is Rodriguez. With Fernandes, he can put in tackles. He likes a tackle. He gives away some fouls. He draws fouls. But he can also get on the ball. He can make passes. He likes progressive carries, take-ons, things like that. It's someone to help us progress further up the pitch, which is what we've needed. Someone to drive forward in the midfield, which is what we've missed. I think it's one of those signs. One of the things that I do worry about is with the players that we're signing with Fernandes and Magassa. Magassa's set to be announced later on today, so Nicky might be coming to do an update video on that, and obviously we've got Van Pint, but we're not seeing many goals. We're not bringing in a ton of goals in midfield. In 36 games, he scored 2 goals and got 4 assists. So when it comes to actual direct goal contributions, it's not a lot. But let's keep in mind, he was playing for one of the worst Premier League teams of all time. Now, a lot of people are sceptical and will go, well, you shouldn't buy players from teams that get relegated because they're going down for a reason. I don't think that's always the case. Obviously, we got Fabianski from Swansea when they went down, and he was class. He was a quality player for us. And there's numerous other examples that I can't remember off the top of my head of signing players from relegated teams. I wouldn't hold that against him. He's still young. He's 21 years old. So he's got a lot of room to grow and improve, really. So, yeah, the fact that he didn't score a ton of goals and get a ton of assists in Southampton, with better players around him in a better team. And as bad as we are, we're better than Southampton last season. I'll tell you that. The output should go up. He's got the likes of, Jared Bowen and Fulkrug, Somerville when he comes back. So he's got better players to create for. And that is the thing with him, he can play in that 10 role if we need, which I think Paqueta will be there for now. Some people feel like he's the Paqueta replacement. We're spending 42 mil and we're spending potentially another 17 million on Magassa without even talking about Quinton Timber if we go for him, which could be our box-to-box one from Feyenoord. So there's other signings still to come. Who's out? This is the thing. We don't seem any closer to selling anyone. Emerson got sent back from the pre-season back in July. He got sent back to London. We thought he was being sold. He's still here. We just haven't seen him. We haven't heard anything about a Guido Rodriguez sale in a while. That's gone quiet. Irvin's supposed to be getting sold. Doesn't seem to be anything close. So there's a few players there that we should be looking to sell that don't seem to be any closer to a sale. So the only other thing that I'm thinking with this money is there's rumours that West Ham are selling a 49% stake in the women's team to US investors or shareholders trust. And basically we're doing the same loophole as what Villa and Chelsea did to get around PSR. That could explain the extra spend that we're seeing. Also, we're signing these players. So Fernandes 5-year contract. Magassa is rumored to be 6-year contract. So you spread the payments out on a longer term contract. In the terms of PSR, your outlay for that year is basically you've divided it by 6, if I'm correct on that. So if it's a 6-year deal, which is what Chelsea did with like Cole Palmer, giving him like a 10-year deal or something mad, is they're just spreading the cost around. So that could be it. But at the end of the day, I'm just happy to get our players in, get our midfielders in, because it's desperately needed. We do need to look at that defence. We do need to look at centre backs. However, if our defence have a better midfield in front of them, it should take some pressure off. It's not going to make him any better in the air, but it should take some pressure off. And I would seriously look at keeping Mavropanos, don't shoot me, Mavropanos in that midfield, because he's the only one that is good in the air. And if we're not signing anyone else, Magassa can play centre back, but then we're losing him as a good holding midfielder. So maybe if we get Timber in as our box to box, and it depends on the formation he's going to play. I don't want to see us keep playing this 5 at the back. I'd like to see us play a 4-3-3. Ideally, we get these signings in. But I expect to see, once we get these signings in, better football, quicker football, more progressive, trying to get that ball up the pitch as quick as possible. No more sideways, backwards. Which is good, because you get someone like Fernandes, he's not a sideways, backwards player. He's going to get the ball and try and take it up the pitch. And we need more players like that. Same as the youth. He gets on the ball, he tries to get it up the pitch. And so we've got players like that. Wan-Bissaka can do that. But the midfield is where the game slows down, because none of those players have any sort of confidence or ability to get that ball up there. So we transform that, we should be a different team. And then Potter cannot hide. No chance. I'm not Potter out right now, but I'm concerned. I was really concerned with his demeanour after Wolves. He didn't inspire me with confidence. A bit of weakness showed. And it's just, he's not the manager, I think, that when you're down in the trenches is going to dig you out. I didn't see any fire in him. He's not going to be the sort of person to give these players a kick up the arse that they need. So we'll see. Mourinho's been sacked. We'll talk a bit about that on Friday Night Pint. Jose Mourinho to East London. Rumours that he could go to Forest. If he goes Forest, then we get Nuno. But I don't have any faith in Sullivan doing anything that's good for this club. So we just get these players in and hope for the best. And at the very least, we'll stay in the league. Like, with a better midfield, with the signings of like Fernandes and Magassa, we're good enough to stay in the Premier League then, right? With a better midfield. And I know, like, it's, we don't know how good they're going to be and all of this. I'm sorry, but you cannot tell me that we get quicker, more technical, more physical players in that midfield. We're a better team. Like, they cannot be worse than what we've got. So all of this, how much have you watched them play? You don't watch them. You don't know. You never heard of him. Never heard of that. I don't give a shit. They're the profile that we need. The players we've got down there are in that midfield are shit beyond shit. You cannot tell me that we're not going to be better with the profile of player that we're putting in there. And if we're not, I'm looking at Potter. Simple as. So I don't want to hear none of this crap about, we don't know, they might be shit. They could be shit, but they're not going to be that shit. I'll tell you that much. I'll guarantee it. I'll guarantee they're not going to be as shit as what we've got in that midfield now. So, yeah, Fernandes, I mean, the money, it's steep. He becomes our third highest transfer fee, which is a lot. They wanted 50 mil. They wanted over 50 million. Southampton thought he weren't coming. We was initially offering 32. So look, you pay 37 plus add-ons. I'm not sure what the add-ons are, but if he achieves the add-ons, then he's been a good player, right? That's typically it. If he's a flop, then we probably won't have to pay the add-ons. Although Todibo was an obligation, and he met the obligation, but we just played him a lot. So yeah, like I said, look, it's a bit of positivity. It's a little bit to be optimistic about. It's been so miserable being a West Ham fan, this month. And that's just a bit of a spark that I think we need, a bit of a lift. And hopefully we can bloody get him in the team, in the squad at least, for Sunday. And get him off the bench. You know, he's been playing, he's had a pre-season. There's none of this, we got to give him 3-4 weeks and all of this crap. There's no reason he can't be getting in that midfield over at least Rodriguez. At least have him on the bench. But I would just chuck him straight in, to be honest, with the crap that we've got to deal with. So, yeah, like I said, Nicky should be back later with a Magassa update once he's announced. And then Friday Night Pint tonight, where me, Scott, and Ryan are really going to get into all of these topics and maybe talk about Mourinho to West Ham. So, thank you for watching. One thing left to say. Come on, you Irons.